Hi, I'm Renee Dawson, and this is my data overview for Data Analysis and School Improvement, ITEC 7305. Today, we will be looking at data from Clark Creek Elementary School, a STEM academy in Cherokee County. We will be comparing the 2013 and 2014 CRCT scores to other STEM schools in Cherokee County, the Cherokee County School District, and the state of Georgia. The intended audience for presentation and discussion is the administrative team and faculty of Clark Creek Elementary School. Clark Creek opened its doors for students at the beginning of the 2012-2013 school year. So there are only 2 years of data that we can look at for this overview. It serves as one of Cherokee County's 4 STEM academies. Clark Creek is currently working to obtain state STEM certification in the 2015-2016 school year. When we look at data today, we will focus on science and math data for 3rd through 5th grade students. Clark Creek is also a Title I school and it has a significant English language learner and special education population. Since I'm a special education teacher, I'm interested in looking at how the Students with Disabilities subgroup compares across the district and the state. So we will look at that in this data overview. Now that the school has been serving students for several years, it will be interesting to see how the 3rd through 5th grade students at Clark Creek compare to other students in the district and state in math and science. We can also use this data to help identify strengths and weaknesses in our school as we prepare for STEM certification this school year. So we're going to look at math and then we're going to look at science. So let's start with math. We have a graph here showing us how the students at Clark Creek, the 3rd through 5th graders, compare to the district and state in math over the last 2 years. So we have Clark Creek, Cherokee County, and Georgia for 2012-2013, and then the same for 2013-2014. So Clark Creek scored similar to the district and state in math its first year of operation. Clark Creek had a higher percentage of students meeting and exceeding proficiency than the state percentage in 2013-2014, but still lower than the total for the district. Now let's look at the 3rd graders. How did these students at Clark Creek compare to other STEM schools in Cherokee County in mathematics in 13 and 14? So we have the Clark Creek students, then we have our other STEM schools, then we have our district score and our state score. So 3rd grade had a higher percentage of students meeting or exceeding proficiency than the STEM schools, district, and state. These students are performing higher than their peers across the district and state. What is Clark Creek doing differently than other schools to make this happen? Now let's look at 4th graders at Clark Creek and compare them to other STEM schools, the district, and the state. And here's Clark Creek. 4th grade had the lowest percentage of the 3 grade levels tested. Clark Creek scored lower than 2 other STEM schools, the district and the state. There is a need for more information on the data for this grade level. We need to improve the instruction in order to see an increase in the math scores for 4th grade. There's some kind of achievement gap here and we need to look at it to see what's going on. Now let's look at the 5th graders in mathematics. Here's Clark Creek, here's your other STEM schools, the district, and the state. Clark Creek had a higher percentage of 5th graders meeting or exceeding proficiency than the other STEM schools in the state. There was a 1% difference between the district and Clark Creek. Now let's look at how the 3rd graders at Clark Creek compare to other Title I schools in Cherokee County in math in 2013 and 2014. So here's Clark Creek and here are other Title I schools in Cherokee County. Clark Creek had the lowest percentage of students that did not meet proficiency and the highest percentage that exceeded proficiency out of the Title I schools for 3rd grade math. That's pretty great. Now let's look at 4th grade. Clark Creek had more students that did not meet proficiency than 2 schools. 80% of the 4th graders met or exceeded proficiency, which was only lower than 1 other Title I school in the district. So still we're seeing an issue with 4th grade math. Now let's look at 5th grade math. Clark Creek had more students that did not meet proficiency than 2 schools. 80% of the fifth graders met or exceeded proficiency, which was lower than 3 other Title I schools in the district. Now let's look at our 3rd through 5th graders at Clark Creek with disabilities compared to other students with disabilities in mathematics in 2012 and 2013. So here we have Clark Creek, Cherokee County, and the state. So 2012 was the first year the school was open. The percentage of students who did not meet was within range of the district and state. And we had more students who did not meet proficiency in 2012-2013 than the district and state did. So let's look at what one year did. This is 2013-2014. 1 year after the school opened, Clark Creek had a fewer percentage of students who did not meet proficiency than the district and state. Clark Creek had a higher percentage of students exceed proficiency than the district and state. So how is the STEM curriculum impacting students with disabilities in mathematics? What can other schools learn from these techniques to help improve their student achievement with students with disabilities? Let's look at science over the last 2 years. So once again, we have Clark Creek, Cherokee County, and Georgia in 2012-2013, and the same in 2013-2014. Clark Creek scored similar to the district and state in science its first year of operation. Clark Creek had a higher percentage of students meeting and exceeding proficiency than the state percentage in 2013-2014, and a higher percentage of students exceeding proficiency than the district and state. Now let's look at 3rd graders in science. So once again, we have Clark Creek, and we have the rest of the STEM schools, then the district and the state. 3rd grade had a higher percentage of students meeting or exceeding proficiency than the STEM schools, the district, and the state. These students are performing higher than their peers across the district and state, just like we saw in math. What is Clark Creek doing differently than other schools to make this happen? Now let's look at our 4th grade. If you remember in math, 4th grade was one of the lowest grade levels at Clark Creek. So let's look at it with science now. 4th grade had a higher percentage of students meeting or exceeding proficiency than the state in 2 of the STEM schools. There's still an issue with 4th grade. There's still some sort of gap in achievement. Is it curriculum-based or is it instruction-based? What can we do to help get these 4th graders to the level that our 3rd and 5th graders are at compared to the other schools, the district and the state? Let's look at 5th grade in science now. Here's Clark Creek. 5th grade had a higher percentage of students meeting or exceeding proficiency than the state, district, and STEM schools. Is this a result of the STEM curriculum and lab activities that the students participate in? How can we make sure the students continue to achieve at this level? So now let's look at students with disabilities and their science scores in 2012-2013. So remember, this was the first year the school was open. Clark Creek had a fewer percentage of students that did not meet proficiency than the district and state, and we had a higher percentage of students exceed proficiency than the state. How is the STEM curriculum impacting students with disabilities in science? Now let's look at 2013-2014. Clark Creek had a fewer percentage of students who did not meet proficiency than the district and the state, and they had a higher percentage of students exceed proficiency than the district and the state. So we can infer from this, looking at last year's score, that the STEM curriculum is making an impact on science achievement for students with disabilities. Based on the results of the 2013 and 2014 CRCT for 3rd through 5th grade students at Clark Creek in science and math, one can see the high student achievement that is present in the school after only 2 years of operation. Overall, Clark Creek is a high-achieving Title I and STEM school within the district and state. The students with disabilities are high-achieving compared to the district and state in part to the curriculum and instruction provided at Clark Creek. We are a great school with great results, but we have much room for growth. Some areas of weaknesses exist in 4th grade and should be looked at to help close the gap. After we have more data over the next several years, a closer look into scores for our minority students scoring in the exceeds category compared to white non-Hispanic students should continue as we continue to grow and receive data. A closer look into instructional practices for our students who are English language learners receiving accommodations and minority students is necessary to begin to close that achievement gap. What are we doing at Clark Creek that we can share with the district to help them achieve the results we're seeing? Who is willing to be a part of the team that will dive into this data to help make our school the best in the district and the state? Thank you.